I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Friday, August the 2nd, brought to you in part by Talive by Norbrook. Talive is a tulathromycin injection, an affordable alternative to Draxxin. It's a single shot, ready to use, rapidly absorbed, proven efficacy for a wide range of diseases. For more information, go to norbrook.com. Also, Unionville Livestock Market and Creston Livestock Markets. Today on Friday, Creston's having a big special fall bred cow and heifer sale. Included in there is a full load of Curtis Shields first calf heifers. They're bred to low birth weight Virgo Angus bulls. Really slick deal there. Going to start calving here pretty soon for about 2 months. Then included in the rest of the consignment is at least 3 complete dispersals of moderate size, both black and red cows, and then a mixture also. But pretty good offering of bred cows and heifers there at Creston Livestock Market here today on Friday, August the 2nd. Big feeder specials coming up. Unionville Livestock Market will have a special feeder cattle auction on August the 20th. Creston, of course, will have their big barbecue customer appreciation sale on August the 21st. Like a ball and chain, I tell you what, I tried to get you guys to kind of, put this board in perspective on our last visit when I was talking about a moderately down day and trying to get you guys to kind of ease off on being so critical, and then you have a deal like happened on Thursday. I mean, it's so frustrating. The algorithms take over, and like I told you on our last visit, they're dialed in, especially on the downside. When you see the market fall a little bit, they just start doubling up, putting orders in, just run it right down as fast as it can possibly go for no reason at all. And then you're searching the phones, you're searching on the internet trying to find out any kind of a reason why the board wrecked on cattle, and you really can't find anything. I mean, there was plenty of rumors out there about a decline in slaughter capacity. Maybe some of your majors looking at closing some of their smaller locations there, but didn't get any confirmation on that really. Now, we did have some dark plants around the Omaha, Nebraska area because of big storms that went through there the night before. So yeah, you're going to be a little bit down more than what you thought on your estimated livestock slaughter, but that's not enough to take September feeder cattle down $5.30. Just absolutely ridiculous. We every time this happens, which is getting to be very, very regular, because I told you they are just salivating, waiting to break this market. And, it's kind of like, telling a guy like me or most of us that Kamala's got a good chance of getting elected president. If you tell us that the market's going to break, we don't believe it because we don't see any fundamentals that say that it's time for the market to break. The hell of it is, they can make it to do it if they want to. All they have to do is sell the board off. Of course, your funds that are aligned with your packers, they're going to be on the downside. Everything's on the downside. Your CME refuses to offer anything for the longs. It's just a short side contract there, and it's not balanced. I mean, we got cinder blocks on the downside, and if somebody held anybody's gun to their head and they say, which way you're going to speculate on this, it's going to be on the downside. It's just so much easier, but it leaves the industry making excuses for the board crashing for absolutely no reason at all. Now your CME group, and I've mentioned it a few times on here, they have not aggressively, but they've mildly said that they would like to have some input from the industry and anybody that's involved in that contract. CME group would like to do a survey on what you guys would like to see in your live cattle contract. Now, sometimes they'll send a representative to some of these cattle producers forums and different kind of trade association meetings, and everybody says the same thing. Do something for the long on the live cattle especially. Offer them something, a gumdrop, a peppermint, something. They won't do anything on that, and so we've just found fewer and fewer groups that want to take the long side. And I've said many times, I think the long should be able to demand delivery. So, you know, whenever, you know, they're sitting there, you know, on the, let's say they're sitting there on I-70, they're kind of on the borderline between the northern plains and the southern plains, and they're looking at your August live cattle board, and we're sitting here in August, and it's under 185, and the cheapest fat cattle they can find to buy is 196, and they're in the business of buying fat cattle. I said, bring me the cattle. I'll take them. Bring me the cattle. It'll go by the same specs, and the people that have delivered cattle against the board, they don't really like the specs that they're set up for. They're not even up with what the industry is producing right now, and but that's okay. Your long guys would say, I'll take the cattle. I'll take the cattle. Just you know, deliver them to me right now, and I'll have them. And they should be able to demand that the same way that a short can tender for delivery, and then they either have to give them a premium or take the delivery. So, you know, why would that not be even? You know, we see your grains trading right even with what the trade's doing out there, and you see a lot of play in it. And so you don't see small groups driving it one way or the other. It's pretty much straight up on fundamentals. And so, and the reason that is because, you know, delivery is so much easier, for one thing, because it's a pretty even, uniform type product there. But we've got to do something for this live cattle futures on the CME group there. And you know, and I would get in there. It's kind of tough to find, but if you go to cmegroup.com and then in the search bar type live cattle survey, you can see where to go on there and take a survey and leave a comment there, and then maybe if enough of us do it. Of course, I'm always trying to get you guys to do something like that, and most people don't like to do that, especially conservative Western type people. It's just not that's just not you. It's not your personality to try to do that. But squeaky wheel gets the grease, and we can't seem to get anything to change on this live cattle contract. And it just has so much to do with our daily trade and our daily markets and the way that things happen in this industry, and most of that is over a cattle producer's head, and then they're just kind of hobbled to it and they're a slave to it, guys. But if you're feeling like a slave right now, you like some of those out front, especially on feeder cattle that you've got turned out, or maybe calves that you're going to be selling this fall, and you think, gosh, I hope that price doesn't go away. Get a hold of them at Livestock Risk Services. That's Dakota Moss and all these agents that work right along with them. They are your LRP specialists, and they will guide you through this, guys. For more information, go to livestockriskservices.com. Let's talk about your board that I've been bitching about ever since we got on here. August live cattle futures down 232 at 184.80. It's an August contract. We're in August. The Southern Plains is trading at 188. Northern Plains is trading at 196. But 184.80 is your price on your spot live cattle August contract. October was down 295 all the way down to 183.72. Your back months are all down from $1.30 to $3.27 lower. August feeder cattle down $4.10 at $253.15, about $4 or $5 under your index levels. September feeder cattle trading at $5.30 lower at $251.80, and we see people giving up to $268 for ball and calves for October delivery on the Winnemucca video there. It's just you know, it just doesn't make any sense. But I'll agree that it didn't make that much sense to give that much for those feeder cattle in comparison to what everything else is bringing. But your back months on feeder cattle were down 442 to down 527. Ouch. They've got those daily limit moves where they can just take the farm or ranch, guys, in just a few days. How about your grains? December corn down 1 1/4 cents a bushel at 398.5. November beans down 6 cents at 1016.5. And hard red winter wheat for September up 5.5 cents a bushel at 554.5. Fat cattle trade, we did see trade, and your market is now established, and it's mostly $2 lower throughout the 5-area feeding region. But Iowa sold 1,400 on Thursday early before 2 o'clock, and about 2,100 head for the week. Live prices 194 to 196. I did talk to a man that markets cattle in Iowa and sold some for 198 FOB. That will be probably an extreme top, but that was the main price last week, but it's mostly $2 lower at 196. Dress sales from 308 to 310. That's mostly $2 lower than last week. Nebraska 500 head sold on Thursday early. 196 is the only price there, and 310 dressed. Kansas 1,100 head is all they've sold. They sold a lot of cattle the last couple of weeks, negotiated direct in Kansas, but only 1,100 head so far, and that was Thursday up before 2 o'clock, and it was pretty much all 188. That's $2 lower. Texas sold 2,300. They've only sold 300 more than that this week, and price on Thursday was 187 to most entirely 188. Fed Cattle Exchange had an online auction there on Friday morning. The only sales they quoted were some beef on dairy, high grading cattle there. They sold those out of Texas at 191 bid the grid base. Let's talk about your box beef cutout values. They were lower, of course. Choice cuts down $1.98 at 312.79. Selects down $2.70 at 297.46. Slaughter up through the first 4 days of the week, 474,000 estimated slaughter on cattle. That was 6,000 less than last week, 19,000 less than the same week a year ago at this point. Actual slaughter information come back for the week ending July the 20th. Had your average dressed steer carcass weight at 915 pounds. That's exactly the same as the previous report. Talk about what else is going on. Green River Posts, guys, since 1987, Green River has pressure treated southern yellow pine posts. Help you build your fence. You guys, if you're going to build some fence later this summer or this fall, manufactured and pressure treated right there at their manufacturing plants. Get a hold of them. Ask them about the truckload sale that they're having through August. They will deliver them to you anywhere you're at, and the first 200 miles is free. For more information, go to greenriverpost.com. Let's talk about your feeder cattle market, your real-time index on DVAuction. Late in the day on Thursday, sitting at 257.60, basically steady or down just 3 cents compared to late Wednesday there. It's very close to your latest CME cash feeder cattle index that fell back in line with your RTI at 257.82. Your big sales on Thursday, farmers and ranchers livestock in Salina, Kansas had 3,900. Market was unevenly steady. They had a lot of spayed heifers in there that sold pretty well. I was impressed by one load of spayed heifers, 73 head, weighed 756, and bring 254.25 for spayed heifers. How about some other individual quotes from all around? El Dorado Livestock in El Dorado, Kansas sells 249 grass steers, weighed 868, and bring 255.75. How about out east? Paris, Kentucky stockyards, they sell 58 steers, weigh 880 pounds at 249.75. Another Kentucky market, Bluegrass Stockyards in Stanford, Kentucky, they sell 72 steers, weighed 749 at 278.10. But the most impressive quote that I saw anywhere on Thursday in your Macrocin, no BS, top quote for the day come from Clarinda, Iowa, at Clarinda Livestock Auction. They sold 56 feeder steers, weighed 846 and bring 265.50. That's your feeder flash for Friday.